Now, this exercise is an introduction to measures of central tendency and measures of dispersion. Now, the main measures of central tendency that we'll be focusing on today include the mean, the mode, and the median. And for our measures of dispersion, we're going to be looking at the standard deviation. Now, the measures of central tendency are really a single value that attempts to describe a set of data by identifying a central position. Now, sometimes these are also called measures of central location. And this value that is used, the mean, the mode, and the median, are really single values that capture the trend in a particular data set. Now, if we are looking at the mean you have already been introduced to the mean, but just to reiterate, the mean is simply a the measure of the sum of values divided by the total number of values in a data set. Now, the data set I'm using here is a total population growth rate for countries in Latin America and the Caribbean by 5-year periods. Now, you'll notice that right here you have 2010 to 2015 and 2015 to 2020. The 2010 to 2015 is based on what the current population growth rate is and the projection up to 2015, and of course beyond for the 2015 to 2020. And we are going to do a statistical analysis using these descriptive statistical techniques to see what the nature of this change is like, if there is any change in the population growth rate, and what assumptions can be made from our statistical observations. Now, I'm going to start with the mean, and it's quite easy to calculate the mean. You can do it in two ways, but most of you already know how to do it by clicking on, by highlighting the column and clicking average. That actually gives you your mean, and my mean is 0.92. I'm gonna show you how to do it another way, which is by selecting equal and then clicking here, going to right, it will be the same thing, average, and then it's already selected B4 to B45, clicking OK. That's just another way of doing it. The advantage of doing it the second way is that the first way always puts the mean in my at the base of my column. But if I wanted to put the mean for the B column in, say, this cell here, it would be better to use the other method, the second method I showed you, which would be equals AVRAGE, right? You just select equals average, double click, and click B. You just B4, show the column name B4 2. The colon is used to indicate 2. Well, in the data range for values in Excel, B4 to B45, and then you click enter. Right? So if I wanted to get this value here, I could do that. Right? Now, so I'm gonna do the mean for this column in that way. So that would be equals a average, double click, C4 to C45 colon enter. Right? So my mean is 0.92 for 2010 to 2015, but for 2015 to 2020, the average population growth rate decreases to 0.78. Now, the mode is the most frequently occurring value in your data set. And to calculate the mode, we simply do this equal. You can go to our statistics option, more functions, and it's already selected as our category is already set to statistical. Of course, there are other options: financial, date and time, math and trigonometrical functions, amongst others. But I'm going to go to mode, and I scroll down for mode, and because I'm using a single set of values, I'm just going to look at that one. I'm going to select mode here, mode single. Okay, now a dialog box appears that asks me now to select my range of values from which I will select my mode. And that range of values, since I'm working with this column, is B4 to B45, and I'm gonna select OK. And it gives me my modal value as 0. Let us check if that's really the modal value. It's possible. I'm seeing 1, 2 zeros. Okay, so 0 is the repeated value there. Let us use the modal value here, equal mode, and this would be C4 to C45, and my modal value here is 1. And of course we could do a histogram to double check this. We could also do a frequency distribution table to see what our values are, to double check these, but I'm pretty sure they're correct. What it suggests here is that the 0, that's simply the most frequently occurring value, and in this case the 1 is the most frequently occurring value. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it is a good reflection of the average of how the data is distributed, because as you would notice, of a value set of about 41 values, only 2 values here, 2 or 3 values were at 0, and so that wouldn't have much of an effect on the mean. And also, it's not a good representation of the total distribution. Now we're gonna go to median, and the median is calculated in the same way. We go to median, so you click, let me get rid of this. So I click on median, double click, and of course same thing, B4 to B45, right? I'm in B column, B4 to B45, enter, and my median value is 0.92. So it's suggesting that my median and my mean are the same for this set of data, which is 2010 to 2015. The median and my mean are the same. And I'm going to look at my 2015 to 2020 data now. Select the same thing, median, comes up, double click, C4 to C45, enter. Okay, but there's a slight difference here with my median. For 2015 to 2020, my median value is slightly higher than my mean value. Now, let us go to the standard deviation. Now, the standard deviation is one of the most commonly used measures of dispersion. Other measures of dispersion include the variance, things like the range and the interquartile range and so forth. Now, these measures of dispersion kind of help us to know the spread of our data. So it tells us how the values are distributed around a particular mean. So if you have two means, both means could be the same.